Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Brian Bride, our Director of Payroll Operations. How you doing, Brian?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So let's get into employee self-service. First, what does that even mean?
So employee self-service is the employee being able to log on to the payroll platform and either onboard themselves as a new employee or make updates to their employee data.
Okay, so essentially it's like, hey, when I go to a buffet, I'm serving myself, right? I go to the gas station, I'm pumping my own gas. So what we're talking about then is a new employee starts and they get all the information, all the paperwork provided to them. They fill it all out before they even step in the door.
Right. So that's all electronic. So when you get a new employee, all you need from them is their name and their email address. And then you email them and then they follow through the onboarding packet. So it's electronic. We can update it. We can customize it, but it has all the compliance pieces. So it has them collect the W-4, you collect the I-9, they can scan their documents, the driver's license, social security card. They can put their own direct deposit in. You can have them read documentation. So you can have them read their employee handbook and sign off on it electronically, or you can have them, sometimes there's like specific forms, like maybe a department transportation form, or maybe there's some kind of release that you need for a drug test. You can have them complete that information online before they even get in the door with you.
And there are huge advantages to this, right? Because, I personally remember when I was filling them out in paper back in the day when paper was really popular. And there's a lot of back and forth of very sensitive information with people you may not know, right?
Right. So it keeps it all secured. You're not giving your social security number to anybody that wouldn't need it. It's masked. You don't have paper floating around. You're not carrying around a check form and sending it to somebody and sitting on somebody's desk. It's all within the payroll platform and you just enter it in and you're good to go.
I love to hear that. It sounds very efficient too.
It is. So, back in the day, you would have an HR person, and they come in for the first day of the job, and then like they're filling out paperwork, and then you're trying to give them videos or train them. Now with the electronic onboarding and self-service, you can have them complete any of that information before they even walk through the door.
That sounds very efficient. That way they can be kind of focused on what they should be focused on their first day, right?
Right. You're not chasing them around like, hey, did you bring your driver's license today? Did you bring your social security card? You have all the information, you verified it, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the sound of that. And, again, on the front end, you have everything put in place before they even step in the door. Right.
Yep.
So how is this all done? Because realistically, this used to be all put into some type of system, but it all had to be done by, as you said, an HR person.
Yeah. So YPD, we use iSolved, and that's the platform for entering in the payroll data, and it brings the person right into the payroll. So anybody that has a mobile phone or any kind of internet access, once they get their invitation, then go through and follow the wizard and enter in all their information. Most platforms have something like the self-service.
Okay. So really what you're saying is it's just something through a web browser. They hop in, register, fill out all their information. Basically, they're good to go.
Yeah, it's really like registering for any kind of website, registering to use your bank. It's all very, very things that people use. It's pretty ubiquitous at this point.
So let's talk about this self-service. What's all involved and why are each of these steps useful / needed?
Sure. So when you're onboarding, collecting the I-9 is compliant for, INS. Collecting W-4s are compliant for taxes to make sure you're collecting tax correctly. The other requirements, maybe it's your handbook. You need them to sign off on certain policies. So that's really important. The next part of it is once they're already in the system, is them being able to, your employees being able to update their information. Maybe they moved. So now you need to put a new address in. So instead of them giving you the information, they log in their portal, they change their address, they're good to go. We can even set up, updates. So if you think that employees might need some hand holding, you can set it up so that you have to check off that they made a change. and say, okay, yeah, I approve of this change, or you can let it go straight through so they have complete control of their data.
Oh, that's great. And again, I guess there's something to be said that when they have their own access, right? They don't need to wait on, whoever to show up in HR, or even if or if they're out on a weekend or wherever, as long as they have access, they can take care of it themselves.
Absolutely. So a good example would be, back in the day, somebody would be like, all right, well, I moved. So let me go into the office, find the HR person, fill out that I changed the address. HR person maybe has access to the payroll platform. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have to email it into their service bureau, and then somebody else has to type the address in. So it's been touched by 3 different people at that point. There's a chance of mistakes. Here it's touched by one person and done. You don't need to do anything else.
Now let's talk about some of the pitfalls with this. So I understand there can be some scams. I did not think that this was a thing.
Yeah. So once a month, we get an email from a client that got tricked for updating direct deposit.
So you're telling me that, with all of our clients that we take care of for payroll, at least one per month, someone calls up and says, hey, something happened.
Yeah. We'll get the email or the call. Hey, I changed this person didn't get paid. Okay. So let's do the research. Oh, you changed the direct deposit this week. Well, they asked me to. You might want to double check with them. Then they get back with the employee and say, no, they never requested that. There's an email scam where it says, hi, HR person, I would like to update my direct deposit information. Here's my new information. Can you make it for this check date? Like once a month that happens. So if you have employee self-service, you don't have that issue.
You're right. That actually makes a lot of sense. So what you're telling me, and I don't know the numbers, but you do. How many is that? Like how many clients do we have that this is affecting?
Well, every client could be subject to this.
But what I'm saying is, is this like 1 out of 500 per month? 1 out of 1,000?
500 per month. Yeah.
Wow. That's still quite a bit. That's affecting.
Yeah, it's a dollar value, right? So if somebody makes money and then you're out a couple grand for their payroll, what if they don't make very much money at all? Like maybe they're a part-time employee and they really need the $200. Now they're out of it and you're trying to track it down. Causes a lot of disruptions.
Well, and we know that payroll is a big deal, right? Especially from a government standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
What are the ramifications for that? Because they've obviously made a mistake, but that employee still isn't getting paid.
Yeah. So, there's laws about how often they need to be paid versus the payroll. And if you're not producing checks and making an effort to pay them, and if money's not available, you could be subject to any kind of Department of Labor violations, things like that.
Oh, wow. So you definitely do not want to get hit by one of these scams. And you just, the ideal world is you want to change your direct deposit, go take care of it yourself.
Right. Do it on the app. That's got 2-factor authentication. Do it on the website as 2-factor authentication. And you're less likely to be scammed.
And you were telling me just earlier, this actually happened to you within the first weeks here.
Yeah. So
but he didn't fall for it.
Right. I didn't. Yeah. So the first couple of weeks, I got an email from somebody claiming to be one of the partners asking me to change the direct deposit information for the next payroll. So they skim your LinkedIn and look for possible employees and to send out multiple emails. So.
And I will say these things are, very complicated. Like these people are advanced. They know what they're doing. They have been practicing it, and it's almost like its own business in itself.
Yeah, it's the emails are pretty legit because it's from an employee. It looks legit. Mm-hmm. The one I got for the partner was bad spelling. So I knew it was an issue right away, but yeah, they look pretty legit. And that's why we have at least one client a month fall for it.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense. Anything else you want to touch base on about employee self-service?
Yeah, I think the other thing is paycheck stubs is a big one.
Really?
Yeah. Cause a lot of people are in direct deposit and, you're printing vouchers. Mm-hmm. If you give your vouchers out to your employees, I can bet 8 out of 10 don't even open them. They get tossed and recycled. Yeah. So we can save on paper and we can save on, postage costs to you for sending you a packet for something somebody's not going to look at, and they be able to access their stubs anywhere. This happens a lot too when, hey, I'm buying a new car, right?
Yep. Anytime they have to do something where they need a lot of money, take out a loan, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. That makes tons of sense.
So you're sitting in the finance thing, and they're like, hey, do you have your check stubs? Yeah. let me pull my app out, pull my check stubs. You got a printer here or email? You can email it straight to the person and you're done.
And then it's done. And again, it's self-serve because it's not like these people would be going to get a loan at the same time they're working, right?
Right.
They're going out on a Saturday when business is closed and all of a sudden they find out they need this information.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.